It's no secret that Carolyn Leavitt has struggled in her role. Her main job is to defend Donald Trump, but even in that, she often falls short. Now, with a government shutdown officially underway and Trump scrambling to shift the blame, Leavitt needed backup. So she turned to Senator J.D. Vance, one of the most combative voices in Trump's circle, to attack reporters and try to control the narrative, but the plan quickly backfired. Instead of helping, Vance ended up in a heated exchange that spiraled into an on-camera meltdown after being challenged by a Fox News reporter. We're going to break down exactly what happened in this chaotic performance from both Carolyn Leavitt and J.D. Vance. Before we dive in, if you're finding this coverage valuable, please take a second to hit the like button, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us keep going. Now, let's start with the moment where J.D. Vance contradicted Trump himself, essentially calling him out as dishonest.
Mr. Vice President, thank you for being here. Yesterday, President Trump said, as a result of the shutdown, we'll be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very effective, and the Democrats, they are going to be Democrats. Has the administration asked agencies to target federal workers who they believe to be Democrats in these reductions of forces?
We're not targeting federal agencies based on politics. We're targeting the people's government so that as much as possible of the essential services can continue to function. That is the question the president has asked the entire government, is fundamentally, okay, we're in a shutdown. That causes some problems. The troops aren't getting paid. There's nothing that we can do about that while the government is shut down. But there are essential services that we want to make sure as much as possible they still continue to function. That is the principle that's driving us forward during this shutdown. It's going to continue to be the principle that drives us forward. But let's be honest. If this thing drags on for another few days or, God forbid, another few weeks, we are going to have to lay people off. We're going to have to save money in some places so the essential services don't get turned off in other places. That is the reality of the government shutdown that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have foisted upon the administration.
So what did he mean by they're going to be Democrats? He said they're going to be Democrats.
You've laid out a lot.
We heard Donald Trump yesterday once again threaten mass firings within the federal workforce. It's important to understand why he's making these threats now as the government shutdown officially begins. He's using it as leverage, saying that if Democrats don't accept his budget demands, including cuts to health care and higher premiums for millions of Americans, he'll move forward with sweeping purges of federal employees. But here's the reality. Trump has already taken steps like this in the past. That's why Democratic leadership, and especially Senator Chuck Schumer, can't afford to simply respond with a strongly worded letter and then back down. This is a tactic, and one we've seen before. Yesterday, Trump claimed he would only target Democrats in the federal workforce. That idea makes no sense, and it's unclear how anyone could even determine that. Now, Senator J.D. Vance is trying to backtrack on Trump's statement, partly because it's politically unpopular, and partly because it's simply not workable. But by doing so, Vance ends up openly disagreeing with Trump, which is a risky move. And if history is any guide, Trump doesn't take kindly to anyone questioning him. Whether it comes directly from Trump or from his increasingly bizarre posts on Truth Social, sometimes even using AI-generated content, we can expect a response. In fact, Carolyn Leavitt was asked about those strange posts, and her reaction says a lot.
Two things to ask you about.
Sure.
First thing, I want to ask about this video that the president posted the other day. It was an AI deepfake of himself talking about something called med beds. What was he trying to communicate to the public there, and why did he delete it?
I think the president saw the video and posted it, and then took it down. And he has the right to do that. It's his social media. He's incredibly transparent, as you all know. You hear from him directly on social media. He likes to share memes. He likes to share videos. He likes to repost things that he sees other people post on social media as well. And I think it's quite refreshing that we have a president who is so open and honest directly himself. Many a times on Truth, you are hearing directly from the President of the United States.
And second thing.
In the middle of a government shutdown, Donald Trump managed to confuse himself with an AI-generated video. And honestly, that might have been the funniest part of the whole week. He shared a clip of Lara Trump on Fox where she was talking about so-called med beds, one of those strange right-wing conspiracy theories about miracle healing machines. But the real kicker? Trump also shared an AI video of himself saying things he never actually said, and he seemed to believe it was real. Think about that for a moment. Either Trump is so far gone that he can't tell the difference between reality and AI, or he actually agreed with the fake version of himself and thought, yeah, that sounds like me. Either way, it shows where his focus is. Not on solving the crisis of a shutdown, but on pushing pressure campaigns against Chuck Schumer by attacking New York, hoping to make Democrats cave. And when Senator J.D. Vance was pressed on that strategy by none other than Fox's Peter Doocy, things didn't exactly go his way.
And we're not going to let him.
And the administration announced today that $18 billion bound for New York transportation projects is going to be frozen so it can't go to DEI programs there. But the timing of this, does announcing that today mean that you guys are going to squeeze Chuck Schumer's home state until he blinks?
Look, I haven't talked to Russ about this morning, but look, I'm sure that Russ is heartbroken about the fact that he's unable to give certain things to certain constituencies. We want to do everything that we can to help the American people, but when the Democrats shut down the government, we have to actually do a little triage to make sure the most critical and most essential services are provided. The government does a lot of things. Of course, Republicans think that the federal government probably does too much, but there are a lot of critical things the federal government does that absolutely all of us would agree need to do. Our troops need to get paid. Our air traffic controllers need to make sure that people are flying safely and on time. We need low-income people to be able to access the food services that are provided by the federal government. There are critical things that need to be saved. We're going to do everything that we can over the coming weeks, if the shutdown lasts that long, to ensure that people get the essential services that they need, despite the fact that Chuck Schumer has shut down the federal government. It's not going to be perfect because we are in a government shutdown. We are going to have to lay some people off if the shutdown continues. We don't like that. We don't necessarily want to do it, but we're going to do what we have to keep the American people's essential services continuing to run.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has always relied on intimidation to get his way. But this time, Democrats cannot fold. What's needed right now is backbone, clarity, and a recognition that the American people know exactly who is responsible for this shutdown. Donald Trump. If Democrats give in to his threats, he'll just keep using the same tactics over and over again. That's why Senator Bernie Sanders has made it clear. He's not backing down. He's standing up and fighting back. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
In a situation where we have a major housing crisis, major educational crisis, people in Vermont are going to the grocery store, they can't afford their food, and we have a healthcare system that is broken. And for the first time in the modern history of this country, where in the Senate you need 60 votes. That means bipartisanship. What the Republicans have said, sorry, we're not going to deal with the opposition. We're going to do it alone. Here it is. You take it or you leave it. I will not take it. And I'll tell you why I will not take it. Just today, there was a report that came out from the Kaiser Family Foundation. This is what they said. 24 million Americans will see more than a doubling in their health care premiums. You know what that means? People in Vermont and around the country cannot afford health care right now.
So they just won't have health care.
They won't have health care. And on top of that, what the Republicans did in Trump's big, beautiful bill is to throw 15 million Americans off of the health insurance they have. Another study came out, University of Pennsylvania, Yale. You know what that is? They say that 50,000 Americans a year will die unnecessarily because they can't get to a doctor. So instead of improving a broken healthcare system, these guys are making it far, far worse. So I cannot sit back and allow a situation where tens of thousands of people in this country will actually die in order for Trump and the Republicans to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the top 1%. That is insane. It's unacceptable. We cannot allow that to happen.
What's your response to Republicans like House Speaker Mike Johnson and others who say the subsidies don't expire until the end of December? We have time to negotiate on those and we can find some common ground.
Well, for a start, common ground, really. They have had months. And for the first time in modern history, they have not sat down.
As as is so often the case, Democrats should be looking to the leadership of Bernie Sanders in this moment, voting no, standing strong, and continuing to call out the failures of this administration. And we'll keep doing the same right here on this show. If you'd like to support that effort, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a like. It really helps us grow. And if you've stayed with us all the way to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.